Hi guys, I thought I would do some kitbashing. So, going to make some post-apocalyptic raiders / survivors, and to start with, grabbed some Peri miniatures Afghan warriors as the base for the conversions. And I bought this for about £3 on eBay. And to start with, just clipping out all the components and putting them in piles on my board. By clipping out everything at the same time and being able to look at all of it, it's a lot easier to see kind of what might work well with each other, and just give you a general overview of all the parts you have. A lot of these arms came in pairs, so I tried to group them together where it made sense to. So using the Afghan bodies as the basis, I also had a bunch of arms and heads left over from Stargrave sprues, so I got these into their pairs and put them out as well. And I tried to go for the weapons that looked less high-tech than the other ones, so that it would more easily fit into the kind of post-apocalyptic genre. With the original rifles, I was going to use some small glass beads to make them look more sci-fi, and basically do what Star Wars does, where they take a historical weapon and they glue random crap over it. So just checking that one of these small tube beads fits on the end of the barrel. Here's where a lot of the kitbashing comes in, where you basically just hold stuff together, see what it looks like, and when you find something that looks good, then you glue it together. It's also where having some blue tack or a couple of extra fingers is really helpful, or gluing it together in sections so you can then customize and play around with the other bits. It's also worth cleaning up any of the kind of sprue nubbins or the mold lines at this stage as well. Then using plastic glue, assembling it as you see fit. Parts from the same kit go together pretty easily, but when you're combining two or more, then often you get different kind of aesthetics and styles. So the Stargrave stuff's a bit larger, more cartoony, so a lot of the time I needed a bit of filing down and trimming down just so it would fit the shoulders of the model. I like the combination of high and low tech parts, where you have basically just a plain tunic, but then one or two bits of high tech technology, where they've been able to scavenge and find it, but they probably don't have much in the way of supply lines. I felt like this guy needed a bit more sci-fi stuff, so I filed down a portion on his chest, and then using a small sci-fi greeble from the Stargrave kit, I just glued that onto the chest. This was the basic process I used for all the minis, so just going around, dry fitted various arms together, and when I find some that looked good, I glued them on, then attached a head and various sci-fi greebles until they felt suitably post-apocalyptic. Here is also where we see the kind of difference in size between the Stargrave arms and the regular kind of Peri miniatures, which are a lot more accurate in terms of scale. But just by filing a bit at the back of the shoulders away, you can generally get them to fit pretty close, but I do go in with Milliput later and fill the joins or cover them up with various cloaks and cloth. Using some more of the glass beads, I also added a few more features onto the various rifles. So generally adding one piece on the end just to cover the muzzle, and then I also glued a few smaller ones onto the side of the rifle to be some kind of energy cell type thing and just make it look a lot less historical. It's also worth using super glue here instead of plastic glue, just so you get a slightly better bond between the different materials. I mounted them on the standard kind of 20mm round base that you seem to get with every kit these days. Once those had bonded, it was time to add a bit of extra detail, so grabbing some Milliput and mixing together both parts in a 1:1 ratio, and adding a little bit of water to make it easy to work with. And if you use something like green stuff, this is very similar, but it's a bit easier to work with, and it's more like working with clay than it is a putty. After mixing that for a few minutes, I pinched off a small blob, and then formed it into a kind of croissant shape, and then pushed it into the back of the neck of one of the models. And the goal here is just to make some simple kind of fur mantles, and some capes. So getting your sculpting tools out, or just any pokey implement, then using it to go around, and pressing some lines into the back of the cloak, just to get the base line of the fur, and then once everything is covered with lines, you go in and you poke using the pointed end, just to get some more texture and variation in. It's probably worth practicing this separately, or on a piece of blue tack or something, just so you can try and get the technique down before you do it. But it is quite easy, just working around and pressing various lines and shapes into the putty. You can also pull away some bits at the bottom of the cloak, just to make it look like the fur has a bit more of a ragged 3D texture. You can also vary up the type of fur by using different shape tools or different lines, as well as different thicknesses of Milliput, so you can have like a much more hunched, kind of fluffy cloak, or a much more kind of threadbare one. But this also has the important function of it covers the seams at the back of the arms, where they're slightly different size. I also found I'd mixed up too much Milliput, which is a pretty common issue, so I just used it to blend the puddle base into the regular base at the bottom. Then, to finish the bases off, using some Vallejo earth texture, as well as some small gravelly rocks, and just sprinkling them on top of the paste before it had dried. It's also worth just tapping them down with the side of a tool so they look a bit more submerged into the earth and a little bit more natural. To prime, I used Vallejo Surface Primer in black, and this also doubles up as a base coat. They then got a foundation layer of dark brown, and this is from AK Interactive, so it's a nice kind of matte finish, and just giving the entire thing, including the base, a coating of dark brown. And it doesn't matter if you don't hit the recesses. So that everything seemed like it was the same kind of materials, I opted for a very limited colour palette of earthy tones, and then almost at random, picked a colour and painted the various cloth sections or weapon, and then blocked that colour in. Again, not being too bothered about filling all the recesses. Using a P3 metallic paint, I then went in and hit the helmet, as well as any of the metallic details, such as the sci-fi greebles and the weapon barrel. Returning to the original colour palette, I then picked a different random colour from the original 4 and applied that over the base coat of the previous colour, as well as using a watered down orange paint to add some rust onto the gun and the metallic details. Moving on to a very bright tan colour, and using that just to apply a few highlights on the fur, as well as using it to pick out the energy cells on the gun. Once dried, we're going to add some contrast using a light blue, which will go nicely with all the kind of dark, earthy tones, and using that to make the energy cells stand out, as well as painting the slit on the visor. Then applying some more of the blue paint around the visor just to make it look a bit like it has a glow to it. And this also goes to show the contrast between the high and the low tech equipment that they have. With a very dark brown, almost black paint, and watering that down, and just adding a few final details, such as some kind of muzzle burn on the end of the rifle, as well as watering it down a bit further and using it as a light glaze, just to add a bit more kind of depth and texture to the cloth elements. The main advantage of using this over something like an ink is that it has a matte finish, so you don't get a really shiny glossy model at the end. Finally, just dabbing a tiny bit of the orange paint on the tip of the barrel to emphasise the muzzle burn. The rest of the models then get the same treatment and get decked out in various earthy tones, using the light blue kind of cyan colour as a contrasting element. For the most part, these were Stargrave bits that I added, but I had a few bits lying around in my bits box that seemed like they'd be suitable, so a lot of the small kind of pouches and bags are from various other kind of historical kits, or Frostgrave kits. And there we have them, a suitable group of post-apocalyptic survivors, or raiders depending on the day. But anyway, thanks for watching guys, and I hope to catch you next week.